Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today's guitar lesson is really nothing new to teach you per se, but having fun with effects. Now, especially if you're playing electric, but a lot of these effects you can still use on an acoustic, obviously, because, acoustics can use effects, just probably distortion shouldn't be one of them because it usually sounds like crap. But I'm just going to go through the backwards list of the factory presets of my GT1 board here. And you can use this board, by the way, with an acoustic guitar. It's not a big deal. Acoustic, electric makes no difference. Use the Boss Tone Studio software to program your settings the way you want them for whatever songs, etc. You can also arrange your pedals in any order you please, which is nice because some of these pedal boards that Boss makes, you can't, but some you can. So this is one of them. It's an inexpensive board with a lot to offer, and you can do pretty much anything with this thing. So this is like they call it a retro tremolo. So a lot of you aren't familiar with effects because you're probably just new to guitar and you don't really know much about effects, and you also don't know how some of your favorite rock gods do their stuff. And well, they use pedals or pedal boards, and that's how we get all this weird stuff. This one's called Mellow Lead, and this is when you're working with presets, you got to kind of figure out what they sound like and what you might be able to do with them. So that's kind of cool to do, right? Safari USA. Now you can also do something like take this control switch that's red, turn it blue, and see what the sound changes too. That's kind of cool. So just by one little change, we got something else we can do more with. And if we go back to that, to where it was. Now, doing that with and without the switching between them, could give you some fun. The idea of guitar is not just learning how to do chords and do strumming. It's playing a whole pile of different things, right? And getting creative with music. And you gotta kind of get creative, right? And you advance more. You want to advance more when you're not doing just plain old, oh, this just sounds like a guitar, right? Because that can get boring as hell, right? So this is why we have effects for, to get more creative and better our skills too and come up with new things. This one is called Clean Twin Southern. There's some pretty cool things. Let's hit the control switch and see what happens. So you have no idea what that control switch is going to do until you hit it one direction or another, which is kind of fun. This is Tweed Clean. So let's see what happens when we hit the control switch. But if you don't like that, you want to go back to clean, you can just put in, let's say you want to put a bit of a delay in there. It's a preset, but you know, and you can do different things on this board and change how the effect works, but just as a preset, whatever it is. Doesn't do much for a delay, but it's there. Let's throw the preamp in with it. But that took the delay off, so let's put the delay back in. Okay. Country pickin'. Take control off. Makes a bit of a difference, right? Unmatched combo. Fortron drive. Take that off. Kind of plainy, sort of. Let's see. This is called 80s Jazz Fusion. Different. Terra reverse and compressor. Terra Funk. Deep CS Chorus. adds in the pedal for doing some stuff. See what else we got here. 80s studio take that off. Fun stuff. We could keep going and going for quite a while, but if you are playing electric guitar and you want to be a little bit more creative, no matter where you're at with it right now, and you just want to make it funner, I would definitely recommend the cheapest way out for you is literally to get yourself a cheap pedal board like the Boss GT1. It is one that I would definitely recommend over any of them, to be honest, because it is inexpensive. It has a ton of Boss effects to offer for you, so that you can have the most fun at the cheapest cost. Buying individual pedals can be extremely expensive, like the acoustic simulator here. And I knocked my guitar out of tune. The acoustic sim is a very expensive pedal when you consider for a few dollars more you can literally have this board with dozens and dozens of effects, plus different preamps for different amps you can use, different cab sounds too. Like this is only a 2x6, right? So now this is the whole amp obviously, but it's got two 6-inch speakers, so you call that a 2x6, but it's not in a huge cabinet, right? And but you can get the sound of like a 4x12 cabinet coming out of this, and it simulates that, right? So you can get that kind of tone that would come out of that amp, out of that cabinet, even though you're not running a separate cab and head, right? So for the little investment of under $300 for that board, it can do an amazing amount for you and give you so much, you know, and it'll make you want to practice more. It'll make you want to advance yourself more if you have more than just a straight. Because nobody wants to stay plain Janie forever. And amplifiers too that have just a built-in clean and just a built-in maybe an overdrive or distortion, and that's all you get, right? Because sometimes mom and dad are cheap too and they just get you a cheap amp. Even a cheap amp works really good with these boards, and you can do a lot with it, right? So I think it's more encouraging, honestly, to have some sort of an effects processor that can help you to just want to play longer and longer every day. And the longer you play, the better you get. It's kind of like strumming, right? You're just gonna want to be more creative. So I would encourage you to, you know, consider picking up some kind of an effects board. You can find these things used too, even at some music stores that sell new and used. You can get amazing deals on these used. Even pawn shops sometimes have these boards, and they're really inexpensive at a pawn shop too. As long as they're working and they're in good shape, you're gonna get a great deal. Throw the software on your computer, and away you go. And the software does work for both Macintosh and Windows, so it doesn't matter what platform you have, works great. You know, I have both systems, but I plug this into my Mac, and but that's just my purpose, my thing, because that's where I want to use it. Yeah, so that's basically today's lesson is about being more creative and just going outside of the box a bit more. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed this, and you know, and if you don't have one of these right now, consider purchasing one, because it's definitely going to help you to want to play more. Because a lot of people, they take guitar lessons, and I've been through with a lot of students myself, and you know, they just, even if they're just playing electric, right? They just got this basic amp at home, and it's like, you know, I'm really not improving. Well, you're just not having fun? Like, well, you know, I don't have the gear you have. And I says, yeah, but you don't technically need a $500 amplifier, because that's what I had at the time, you know. And so, I mean, I've gone down to more basics because of what I do now. So I don't need that expensive amp anymore. But, you know, some students they're just like that. It's like, I really would like the bells and whistles, you know. And I says, well, you know, this is an option. This is one of your options, and you don't need a new amp. You just need this. You know, get your amp later, because I mean, if you keep progressing, keep getting better and better, that's when I would suggest at that time, let's start growing out of the cheap amp and get a much better, stronger amplifier, and you know, and still keep the pedal board, or you know, whatever. And there's a lot of amplifiers out there with a lot of effects, like the Katana series, but they're not an amp that's as easy to deal with for figuring out where are all my settings, right? Where this is, right? So the pedal board comes in handier for a lot of people that are basically less literate, I'd say, at least at the beginning. You become more literate in programming modeling effects as you progress. So, but even all the presets built in here without touching anything, there's still a lot of good effects in here that are really going to be a great starter that could last you for a long time before you even need to think about hooking it to your computer. So think about that part of it too, right? And you don't need a $2,000 Boss flagship pedal board, okay? I mean, if you're playing professionally on stage, you might want to consider that, sure. But when you're just starting out, or, you know, and you could use this on stage, I mean, I do, you know, but I got to sit there and I got to program every song that I'm going to be playing with each effect, and I name it a different name than what comes up right now. So this way I know, okay, my song set, these are the songs I'm doing them in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that's how I'm going to program my board. Because what we start with, that's what we end with, and then this way I'm covered, and then I can save that as a set in my library for future use. You learn that afterwards. That's a little more down the road there, okay? But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And do not forget to check out my other videos. We do have a playlist for you beginner players. And we are going beyond beginner level, even though I still call them beginner lessons. They do go beyond the beginner. So maybe I'll have to retitle some of them at one point, or we'll just leave it like that for a while. But either way, see you later.